कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
Okay, here it is. Cyrus drives actually, that's the show ka naam. Yeah, sir is not happy with this situation. I quickly clean it because it's a rainy day here in Mumbai when we are driving. Our new watchman, MBA करके आ गया इधर, but नौकरी का सवाल है. You have to get the job you get after pandemic. He's a superb young man, double MBA, gold medalist. And speaking of double MBA gold medalist, I'm with Punit Goyal. And Punit is going to tell us, firstly, Punit, you know which car you're in?
This is a Volvo XC40 Recharge. Fantastic car. Really, really amazing. I think it's a
And it's a
launch.
part of your tribe, in a sense.
Yes, absolutely.
आप लोग का जो community है, this is one of the leaders.
Absolutely.
But we have got you here
Also the global leader.
for two reasons: to save you money on Uber, to go back to your office, and more importantly, to promote what's going to destroy above mentioned party. You can't say it, but I can say it. And that is your fantastic brainwave idea, which is what we're going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it? This man has got so much finance now that he spends first 8 hours of the day just counting all the money he has, because every day money is pouring in.
No.
And it's for a fantastic venture called, if you can see the shirt there, it's written very clearly. Let's just see what it says. BluSmart Mobility. I want to ask you about the mobility also.
Yeah.
The first electric vehicle venture for cab service, right?
It's a fully electric ride-hailing service.
So can I just warn them, once you start talking, you won't stop talking. So that's why I wanted to get my point in quickly. उसके बाद मेरे को chance भी नहीं मिलेगा.
Absolutely. So BluSmart is building a fully electric ride-hailing service. We are building two businesses essentially. First is the ride-hailing business, and second is the EV charging business. We started off in 2019 with a very small fleet of 70 cars, and now today we have the largest fleet of electric cars in India, which are 2,250 cars plying on the roads of Delhi NCR. 2,250 cars in Delhi NCR.
The first of its kind in India.
Fully electric ride-hailing service.
Did I hear Uber going, oh no, मेरा क्या होगा? But listen, there's space for everyone.
Correct.
We are competitive, but we build a community by being competitive.
Absolutely correct.
कहने में क्या हर्ज है ना?
Absolutely correct.
So Punit, let's start. Where did the idea come from? Tell us a little bit about, going back, you were in solar panels.
Yes, correct. Thank you. Hi, Cyrus. Thank you for inviting me to the show. So me and my co-founder Anmol, so we have been in the solar industry for the last 10 years.
Yeah, Anmol को थोड़ा भाव देना ना. He just threw his name out.
I started off in 2008 as a young entrepreneur in the renewable space and built 3 companies and exited them. We built India's first 20 megawatt solar power plant at Patan, Radhanpur in Gujarat in 2011 for 20 megawatt size, which powers about 80,000 villages in the state of Gujarat. So that's how the journey started, 10 years in solar. And in 2018, I got this idea to build a fully electric ride-hailing service in India and also build out the largest network of EV charging stations. So India has 2 huge challenges, congestion and pollution. And I thought that, think here is a huge opportunity and BluSmart can probably solve those challenges. So that's how the company
One thing you can do quickly as we continue with the talk, just put your middle finger on your cheek like this and give a half message to the guy on the side. कैसे हो sir? Beta,
how are you? Hi.
That's our sound and light department, and we have to put them in their place. Yeah, so you're talking about these twin areas that you're looking at.
Yes.
This idea was yours.
Correct.
Because everybody talks about when entrepreneurs come up with an idea, they always look for what is missing in a market.
Correct.
Is this the right way?
No, absolutely. And so we are from the renewable energy industry, and we thought that while we have been decarbonizing the energy space, there's a huge opportunity to decarbonize mobility. And the mega cities of India have mega challenges, and one of them is pollution. And public transportation also has to come of age. And we saw that the public transportation platforms in Delhi were crippled. People were unable to get good quality public transportation service. And this is how the idea of a lot of brainstorming. I spent 2 years, 17 and 18, writing the white paper of BluSmart. I convinced my co-founder Anmol, who came on board, and he loved the white paper I wrote on electric mobility, and that's how we.
But also, if you go back to taxi services back in 80s and 90s, also they had a way of sustainability. Like in Mumbai, many taxis wouldn't work, so you had to push it. So you would hire the cab and then you'd push it yourself. So it's not like it's a new idea. It was there, but you've advanced it to the future and embraced digital technology, which is what it is.
No, so absolutely no. I think one of the things, Cyrus, is that back in 2017 and 18, the cost of petrol and diesel was on the lower side. It was 72 rupees a litre. CNG was about 38 rupees a kg.
Yaad mat dilao, yaar.
CNG.
I'm feeling happy again.
So CNG was 38 rupees a kg, and we knew that India is the largest importer of crude oil, and we knew that India has to shift towards electric because the cost of CNG and petrol will go up. Now the cost of CNG is 84 rupees a kg. The price has gone up by 2.5 times, and the cost of petrol is about 110 rupees a liter. So it's a massive headwind for the drivers on the other two ride-hailing platforms to use them as a fuel. And even for consumers like us, I mean, we are sitting in a Volvo XC40 Recharge, which is a fantastic car. It saves us tons of fuel. EVs save you on so much fuel. The operating cost is 1.5 rupees to 2 rupees per kilometer, which is fantastic. If you use a CNG car today, it costs you 6 rupees a kilometer. If you use a petrol and diesel car in South Bangalore, there's no CNG or people have less access to CNG. The cost is about 10 rupees a kilometer. So the unit economics doesn't favor internal combustion engine cars. The unit economics favors EV cars. And that's one of the main reasons of starting BluSmart.
Punit, you don't have to tell me this because I'll tell you, I have friends who sold their flat and their mother's jewelry just to buy petrol for the week.
Crazy. So the prices are really shot up.
It's not funny. It used to be funny, but now once it crossed 100 rupees, I think, and diesel came close to 100, they brought it down to 94 right now when we're driving this.
Yeah, correct.
But it's just ridiculous. You know, I felt like migrating, to be honest.
Correct. So that's a new norm now. That's a new norm. And so I think most of India will see India leapfrogging and transitioning to 100% electric over the next 3 to 4 years. A lot of consumers will also buy electric cars.
This is the big question I want to ask you. I don't get a correct answer for this. Holland mein bhi dekha, and a couple of other places where the government's subsidies and schemes and pushing, supporting the guy to come up with the EV machines and the charging stations. But what happens to all the inventory we have of cars that are already there? And petrol stations and who function on another environment completely. The culture is different. You'll have losses, right? Jobs and all will go.
So I don't think so. I think India still, so if you just talk of India first, so India has one of the lowest asset ownerships per 1,000 people. So in a massive country of 1.4 billion people or 1.38 billion people, per 1,000 people, only 30 Indians own a car. So I think
Sir, you're like car Google. Your answers are so fast and furious. I don't have a chance even to argue.
So I think there's still a big opportunity for the auto sector to really grow in India. But I think the new India will not be using CNG and ICE cars or petrol and diesel cars. The new India of this decade will be using EVs. So there's a huge opportunity, and companies like Volvo, which are global leaders, and others like BMW and others are also now transitioning towards, and launching the EV models in India. And we're sitting in a great EV. So every automobile giant in India is now manufacturing EVs, and there are hundreds of EV models which are going to come over the next 2-3 years. Now coming to global cities like Delhi NCR in India, and cities like London in the UK are leading from the front in terms of the EV transition. So London came out with this policy, Transport for London, TfL came out with this policy back in 2018-19 that every ride-hailing service or every taxi in London, so London is the Mecca Medina of taxi market in the world. There are 140,000 taxis on the roads of London. Bolt Mobility, Free Now, Uber, and the London Taxi Cab Company. And they all are going fully electric now because this is now etched in stone that every ride-hailing service has to be electric. They're all going electric. So we were in London for 3 months. Everybody. So it's called LEVC now, London Electric Vehicle Company. It was called London Taxi Company earlier. And they are now adding EVs. So all old cabs are transitioning out and new cars are fully electric. And that's the future of mobility in London. And the government charges you congestion charge and ultra low emission zone charge. So they've created these ultra low emission zones in London. If you drive a non-EV on those roads, the streets of London, you pay a GBP 12.5 fine or tax to the government.
It's a crime.
It's a crime. And you also pay congestion charge of £15. If a driver shifts to or transitions to an EV, then he will save about 27.5 GBP. That's 2,700 rupees per day.
Wow. Indians will do it. All the Indian cabbies will do it immediately.
Absolutely. I think Delhi is also taking that, going forward. Even TFD came out.
But what happens to British Petroleum?
So globally, energy companies have realized this, that while last 100 years was all about petroleum and diesel or gas, now it's all about charging and electricity. So companies like BP, which is also an investor in BluSmart, and they're one of the largest companies in the world in terms of oil and gas, is heavily investing billions of dollars and billions of pounds in setting up charging infrastructure. So BP owns 8,000 charging stations all of UK. They acquired BP ChargeMaster, which is now their company is called ChargeMaster, BP ChargeMaster now. And they have about thousands of charging stations in Europe in joint venture with other two automobile giants.
When I was growing up, BP had another meaning altogether. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you.
That's right.
So that's great.
So if you use non-EVs, you'll get a high BP. So it's because of the rising fuel prices.
Tu khud chala gaadi. If you want to do jokes, there's no point in me being here. You're supposed to information, I'm supposed to do jokes. No excuse. Yeah. Excellent. All right. So let's not talk about the venture itself, how it was born. You spoke about Anmol and all that, and obviously you all came together. But it's not an easy thing to put it together. And you were telling me offline about how you got the investors in and all. Very interestingly, you've got one of my closest friends. I won't say I dated her, but I met her, Deepika Padukone. And of course, you know how fascinated we are with Bollywood. You've just been with Shirin Bhan on CNBC interview.
Thank you so much.
And everybody's asking you the same questions. How they interested? How did you think of? Because it just looks like the perfect mix. They need that for their PR if nothing else. Does it make sense?
No, so I think we met Deepika and she invested in the seed round of BluSmart. We are grateful to her for investment. She backed us at an early stage when we had raised the $3 million round. She was one of the large investors in that $3 million seed round. Now, cut to now, we have raised almost $75 million in equity and $150 million in EV asset financing. And now we're in the middle of a $250 million Series B round, which is going to be completed over the next 3 months. But what Deepika liked about was we were doing two things right. For the driver partners, we are creating inclusive, equitable economic opportunities. We are creating job opportunities for thousands of drivers and also for women drivers. And she was saying
is it true Ranveer is going to be one of the drivers?
So she was very happy to know that women drivers are coming on board and we are creating opportunities for women drivers. When energy transition is happening at such massive scale, nobody should miss out, whether male or female. And this is what Deepika loved. And also what we told her was that we're building a reliable, sustainable, fully electric ride-hailing service, which is great for the environment because we have zero emission service, but also we are providing great service to the consumer, zero ride denials and zero surge pricing. So
it's like a social platform across the board.
Exactly. So the safety aspect is what she loved. And she said that today women of India today feel unsafe. I mean, for my wife, for that matter, or for my daughter to take the other two ride-hailing platforms, they will not feel safe. And Deepika said that if you're creating safety around, and safety is utmost, while driving also, we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very careful about, safety. And so that's what she loved. Job opportunities for women drivers, safety around ride-hailing piece, which was a big missing piece. And we are a fully branded fleet. So you see the BluSmart logos are all over the cars. We are a fully branded fleet. We take complete accountability and responsibility of each ride that we do. We're not simply an aggregator platform connecting the consumer with the driver and driver with the consumer. We take complete responsibility.
Look at this joker on the wrong way.
So these are things that Deepika really loved, and for those reasons she invested in BluSmart. And
also you missed out one very important point, Punit. I know you're impossible for you to miss out the way you talk, but you missed out on the point that she's giving options to actresses whose careers are failing. Then they can also drive the cab and continue with some career and bring some paisa home. So I think a lot of respect.
So we're grateful to her for investment, and thanks to her.
And so quickly the whole thing has happened also. You put it together. It's sort of like an idea which the moment it's like everybody supported you.
I think BluSmart was an idea whose time has come. It's about time we really scale, and we are scaling across Delhi NCR. So today we have the largest fleet of fully electric cars. We have 2,250 cars in Delhi NCR. By the end of this year, by December of 2022, which is this calendar year, we should be scaling to a fleet size of 4,500 cars. And now we're launching in Bangalore with a fleet size of 150 cars, and the Bangalore fleet will scale to 600 cars by this calendar year. So BluSmart will scale to 5,000 cars. In terms of numbers, Uber's London fleet of electric cars is also 5,000. So BluSmart's India fleet will equal the largest fully electric fleet of Uber in any city in the world. That's London. So in terms of numbers,
world beater. And if you want, I can put in a good word. I know Jyoti Malhotra quite well. So with Volvo, I can talk to them, and you can get the XC40 also recharged.
Absolutely, we have a number of such other cars also. We'll be very happy to get some hundreds of Volvos on our platform for
premium special rate applicable hai. Don't you worry about it.
It's a great car and consumers will love it. I'm loving it. You are loving driving it.
I want to take it further. Why just male, female drivers? There are 19 genders now according to the Western manual.
Absolutely.
So let everyone drive.
Absolutely correct.
No, they, them, he, her, she, whatever.
Absolutely.
All are welcome. Very secular.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
Okay. Here's the next question, which is about and this is very Indian, but I think everyone should ask this anywhere in the world. Everyone's worried about the charge capacity. Like we used to about petrol ka mileage kitna deta hai and all that. So what would you say about taxis at the moment?
Yeah, so I think for consumers, who buy an XC40 Recharge car and people who are buying other cars, I think they should not be really worried because for intracity purpose, you don't drive beyond 200 kilometers on a single charge. And while building a ride-hailing service, we are very mindful of the fact that we will need large-scale charging. So that's the second business model of BluSmart. Today, BluSmart operates and runs 18 EV super hubs. And by definition, a super hub is a hub where more than 50 cars can be charged and parked in parallel. We have 18 such EV super hubs having hundreds of charging stations at each super hub. Somebody has 50, somewhere we have 200. So overall, we have about 1,400 EV charging stations, fast charging stations, and we have about 1,000 slow charging stations, which can power the car and charge the car in 60 minutes flat. And that will give the car a mileage of 210 kilometers. So for a taxi company, we charge once at night during dead time, and we have half an hour charge during the day. That's a
But what if I'm driving at night?
So I think cabs run more or less 12 to 14 hours a day. They're 24 hours in a day. So you still have 9 to 10 dead hours in the day, which you can use it. That's where the technology comes in. So when the car's state of charge or SOC goes below a certain threshold, the car is routed towards the closest charging infra. And the driver picks up another fully charged car and off he goes. So that's where the technology piece comes in, that connects the electric cars with the charging station. But I think for intracity purposes, for consumers like us who own cars, like maybe a XC40, we don't need to worry really because our consumption on a daily basis is not beyond 200 kilometers. That's the maximum maximum you can ever drive in any city.
Correct. Inside the city. But since it's a cab, it's just covering all the options.
Yeah,
I'm not like a salesperson
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
I'm in marketing or sales. So I'm also helping.
Yeah.
So basically, whether you go from Chandigarh to Delhi or whether you go within Delhi itself or as go to Mumbai and Bangalore as well, in the city, it's never going to be a problem because the capacity is well over.
Yeah. So now we have also some long range cars, like we don't have the Volvo, but we'll be very happy to get some. But we have some long range cars of some other automobile giants, which have a range of 400 kilometers on a single charge. And with those cars, we can easily, seamlessly cover the distance between Delhi to Jaipur, Delhi Chandigarh or Delhi Agra. And also now we have a joint venture with a company called Geo BP, which is in turn a joint venture between Geo of India and BP of UK. With them, we have partnered to build 15,000 charging stations across length and breadth of India over the next 3 years. So they are really helping BluSmart set a massive large-scale charging station. We are building our own charging infra, plus our 100% JV with Geo BP also is helping us to build large-scale charging infra. And they're setting up charging infra on the roads from Delhi to Jaipur, Delhi to Chandigarh.
I'm pretending to drive right now. Okay, but this is also because I want to take you back to 70s, 80s Hindi films where a lot of acting happened, the driving didn't really happen. Now I will actually drive as well, just to confuse the people watching who don't know what's going on. Let's talk about the whole this whole carbon footprint, and I know you already touched on it a little bit. Carbon footprint issue and what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years down the line, and all that. We spoke about it becoming a crime in the West. What's the situation with India? I mean, ultimately, we only want to know our situation.
No, absolutely. Look at the AQI in Delhi. I mean, the AQI all through the year is about 150, 200. It can go up to nearly 350 to 400 during the winter season, and it's really, really bad for the younger generation. And India's medical bills will go so high if people fall sick, and we don't want the youth of India to fall sick, right? This is a decade of cleaning up the mess that has been created in the last 20, 25 years.
Plus 2 years
our
pandemic.
Generation, plus 2 years pandemic. So our job I really feel that it's the responsibility of our generation to clean up the mess that we only created over the last 20, 25 years. And if we see cities like London, which have AQI of 2, today are taking such progressive steps with this forward-looking EV policies or clean energy policies, where the entire city is going fully electric. It's a mandate that every single transportation platform, public transportation platform, cabs, buses, everything is going fully electric in London. I think cities of India, mega cities of India, to begin with, mega cities have mega challenges like Delhi NCR, Bangalore and Bombay should also take progressive steps towards converting the entire public transportation. I think a lot of buses in Bombay I see are going fully electric. They are roaming around in the alignment point area with green number plates. So this is where we see a huge opportunity for cab companies like BluSmart, innovative companies like BluSmart and others also to come in and contribute towards building a sustainable public transportation.
How long do you think it will take before we have like almost 90% or 80% green India? What do you want, EV India? EV?
So I think India has set up a goal of 2030. It's a massive country with a huge population base. Delhi NCR itself has a population of 46 million, which is equal to the population of Spain as a country or Ukraine as a country. You can fit the population of Spain in Delhi NCR. That's the population size of Delhi NCR as a region. I think I see a lot of EV transition happening on two-wheelers. I think two-wheelers are early adopters and it costs also pretty less. Cars will happen over the next 5-6 years with the range anxiety going down and more visibility on charging infra happening. More and more people will be excited towards shifting towards electric mobility, and also the rising fuel costs. So everybody's also really sad about the rising fuel costs. That's also pushing people towards shifting.
You got our first problem. I have no idea. Balance low hai. Sir se mat lena.
I have the change. 1 second.
Punit, I apologize.
No, absolutely.
Folks, this is a very shameful part of this episode. So, 1 minute camera पे दिखाना पड़ेगा. आपका नाम क्या है? धर्मेंद्र, क्या बात है, दिखता भी ऐसा. शक्ल से मिलते हैं. That our guest, our privileged guest, is paying the money, for this. Bye, Dharminder. And behind is the angry young man, Amitabh Bachchan can't be far away. Dharminder was there. Yeah, so I was interrupting the point that you were trying to make, which is that it's just a matter of time now whether we all go, the whole world almost goes in the same direction.
Just like the mobility revolution. I mean, when 90s, when the first mobile phone came to India, only few people could afford it or have it. Today, most of India has telephony and they have mobile phones. India leapfrogged from landlines to mobile phones straight away. You don't need to spend billions of dollars on creating landline infra when you can, leapfrog to mobility or cell phone. Similarly, I think India will leapfrog to electric mobility, bypassing the layers of further ICE car manufacturing or CNG cars manufacturing. We are going to see one of the largest transitions and one of the largest adoption of EVs anywhere in the world is going to happen in our country. Starting with Delhi NCR, we are contributing a small part of it. But I think the entire country is on a mission to decarbonize mobility for the better future for all.
And then, Punit, I've heard of this reverse imperialism plans plans of yours where you're going to take over Europe as well. India pehla, uske baad Europe, and then even China is under your periscope.
So I think in terms of BluSmart, we see a huge, with a capital H, huge opportunity to really scale in India, because this is our country. We are here to solve the challenges of India and the challenges of climate change. I think for humanity, the biggest threat to humanity today is climate change. And I've always been an advocate of climate change, and I've always been trying to do something towards addressing the challenges of climate change. So that's our target one. But also we'll chase the opportunity of when the West is going electric. One of our investors, BP, is from London. So we'll also start BluSmart London sometime end of Q4 of 23 or Q1 of 2024. But our first target, our mission is to ensure that we decarbonize mobility in India and help Indians go fully electric for a better future for all of us.
Sir, I promise you sound like a member of parliament making a speech now. I can see people saying, vote for you, vote for you. Yeah. So apparently, I've got this piece of information which, because I study my market properly and before I come here and ask stupid questions, I know what I'm saying. So apparently the carbon neutral prediction by 2040 of Volvos, do you think that's possible?
Absolutely possible. I think as a large global automobile giant, I think Volvo is on the right path to do that. Companies like Volvo need to come forward and invest millions of dollars in R&D in creating cars like what we're sitting in is a fabulous car. I think consumers will benefit from this R&D spend and this large spend that Volvo is doing. The future is fully electric, and I think what Volvo is doing great. I think they're on a mission. This is one of the first rollouts. We are going to see many more electric models from Volvo in the coming 2 or 3 quarters. We're very excited as a consumer. I love this car. It's my first time in the car.
So you want it, I know a man.
It's a fantastic car. And I think, yes, Volvo is on the path to, I think they are on this net zero mission. I think they will achieve their dream, because most of the automobile companies globally are on the same mission mode of going fully electric. They're rolling out all models to be electric, because I think the law is such, you cannot sell a non-EV in Europe or in US going forward. So I think, and being a European company, and it's one of their missions to go fully electric and roll out all models which will be electric. Right. India is beneficiary of this model. I think great for the consumer.
You heard it from Punit Goyal himself. Now is a good time to cash in on the equity of this company and try and make the right phone call.
Investors are not selling really. I mean, we are giving huge opportunities to some of the investors who have made about 10x on the investment, but people don't want to sell. They just want to be a part of it, which is good. But also you should cash out at the right time, and you only make money when you exit. You don't make money when you invest.
No, don't cash out. All the bigger things are still to come.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're only in Delhi now, and you've already done so well.
Yes.
We're looking at just the triple growth of Bangalore, Mumbai, and then going a little beyond that in India to other big urban cities, and then going beyond Indian shores.
Yes.
So I don't think I'm cashing out if I was a investor.
So we started off with Gurgaon. Now we are, we are going wide and deep across Delhi NCR. It's a huge geography. You have Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Noida, Greater Noida, Gurugram, and Delhi. So it's like the
I had a girlfriend in every territory you have mentioned. Sadly, no longer.
And now we're launching Bangalore shortly in the last week of September. The launch got delayed because of the rains, but now we'll launch it last week of September.
Anyway, we have to take a quick break here on this show called, Cyrus Drives. That's right. Don't worry, age big cheese hai. You forget things. It's Alzheimer's, dementia, all this is setting in. And that's why EV is important. Save the environment if you can't save the person. Come se come. So we're taking a quick break. We'll be back. Punit Goyal is with us. Stay exactly where you are. I can't stay where I am because I'm in a car that's moving.
India is moving forward towards electric.
Well, we are moving forward with India at the moment. We're on the lovely sea link, which was built by my ancestors. Punit doesn't know all these historical facts.
Absolutely.
Ask him anything about EVs, so मेरे को 15 minute का भाषण मिलता है. But now let me also talk a little bit. Before we get into the personal details, second half I like to talk a little personal as well, if you don't mind. But let's talk one little more thing about the entire revolution, which is cost. So when I hire in Delhi, for example, for those who don't live in Delhi, how much will, let's say for a 10-kilometer drive or something like that, how much am I going to pay as a fare?
Yeah, so for a 6.2 mile ride or a 10-kilometer ride, consumer on the BluSmart platform today pays about 19 to 20 rupees a kilometer, which is very good. We are relatively and very, very cheap.
Can we compare it with the names that I should not mention?
Exactly. So the other two ride-hailing platforms in India, for the reasons known to them because of surge pricing, the consumer today in Delhi for a 6.2 mile or a 10-kilometer ride ends up paying about 27 rupees a kilometer. And if you take those two ride-hailing platforms in Bombay, you end up paying about 26 rupees a kilometer. So we are 15 to 20% cheaper when surge comes into effect. But the whole idea at BluSmart was not to build a low-cost, low-service ride-hailing service. We wanted to build a premium, fully electric ride-hailing service because we are giving an elevated experience to the consumer. For us, it's safety first, and we're building a safer environment for drivers, safer environment for consumers. And each and every car is tracked. We have tracking devices installed in the car. So unlike the other two ride-hailing platforms, the cars can go off the platform. Those two ride-hailing platforms don't know. The driver can switch off the app, and those two platforms have no idea where the car is. In our case, we are tracking the driver, we're tracking the consumer, we are tracking the car because we have tracking device installed in the car. And that's the experience the consumers are loving it. We have zero surge pricing. We have zero ride denials. We have done 75 million kilometers covered, 2.2 million trips delivered to consumers.
Wow.
On an
How
average,
do you know these figures? You're like some genius.
on an average,
Oh, are you लगाएंगे? मेरे को कुछ पता नहीं.
on an average, 20,000 people are using BluSmart on a daily basis. So we are doing about 500,000 trips.
Amazing.
And these are repeat customers. An average consumer spends about $28 per month or $76 per quarter on the BluSmart app. So we're getting great customer stickiness, great customer love, for which they don't mind paying 10-15% more. I think the people in Delhi NCR love BluSmart. We have become a very bankable and trusted ride-hailing service. And the best part is 45% of all our customer base are women. And when women use you, it just shows that you have built a credible
Sir, you have
product and
said
they're
the
really,
line,
really safe.
When women use you. This is a very controversial line, sir. What do you mean by
Use
when
the
women
product.
use you?
I meant that when you use the product, it just shows that you build a credible brand, a reliable brand. I wouldn't want my daughter, my wife, my mother to use, platforms which may not be safe. We don't know what may happen.
So can you choose the driver that's coming? The
not
gender?
as yet, but now, as we said that...
That will be a form.
Yeah.
Tick.
You're right.
Huh.
All our drivers go through a lot of checks. So
Swipe left for girls, swipe right for male. I don't know.
So when a driver walks into the BluSmart hub, we check the driver first, and before we hand over the $12,000 asset to the driver, and all these drivers are vetted. The best part is that they're picking up the cars from the BluSmart hub and dropping it back. So there's a lot of background check which happens on daily basis also. And just like how airlines are dropped back at the airports and the pilot is checked before the keys of the aeroplane are handed to the pilot, right? So, and those are the checks that keep the drivers grounded and keep them on target. We also watch the drivers, and drivers know that they are watched at all the time. And great for drivers. So we're creating massive opportunities for them without stress of asset ownership.
And how do you decide who is a good driver? Personality rather than driver.
So most of the drivers are obviously drivers which have driven on the other two ride-hailing platforms, but these drivers don't want to be micro entrepreneurs, because after doing so much of asset ownership, owning a car, and with rising fuel costs, they end up saving about $550 a day. On the BluSmart platform, they make 800 rupees a day without the stress of asset ownership, without worrying about the fuel costs. So they are in a way happier place. They love BluSmart. So for every car, we have 1.3 drivers available. So for 2,250 cars, today we have about 3,000 drivers who today are on the payroll of BluSmart. And given the fact that we're scaling to 5,000 cars by end of this year, we are creating job opportunities for about 6,500, 7,000 drivers.
So almost half extra driver per car.
Yeah. So that is for efficient matching, because if the state of the charge of the car goes below, he or she can drop the car at any of the closest hubs and pick up a fully charged car. So you always have more drivers than the number of cars, and then you efficient.
A lot of combination and permutation, like a cricket game. You have to figure out all these statistics before you get into this business.
That's right.
So don't try it. It's only for Punit. He's obviously got a really, really fast mind. Sorry. So how did you get the name? How did Blue?
So I came up with the name. I think my biggest contribution to the company has been coming with the name BluSmart. I don't know if BluSmart should thank me for anything else, but the only contribution I made was coming with the name. No, so I think Blue is synonymous with electricity, and obviously I took the E out, and smart because it's smart mobility, and India is now transitioned towards these are smart vehicles. They are they are autonomous, they're connected. So smart is an integral part of the vehicle. So that's how BluSmart came, and I came up with the name in October 2018. I think that's my only contribution towards.
Did you pay yourself for that?
I didn't do that. Actually, I should charge myself.
I think you should bill yourself immediately.
Exactly. I should tell my investor that.
One other thing, as
I have the royalty over BluSmart.
I almost broke the red light. I went through an amber. Amber, theek hai na? Orange.
Fine.
Amber, we say in Bombay. Just one question, one point I want to bring out, not because the sponsor asked me to, but people don't know that this beautiful car that you're sitting in, which is called the
XC40 Recharge.
Wow, you're very good, sir. Well, it gives 418 on the charge,
which
on
is
a full charge.
Which is fantastic.
418 is Bombay to Goa.
Brilliant.
You can't get better than that.
I think it's the intracity purpose is fantastic. I think Nariman Point to airport is 30 kilometers, so you can
not
do
even
multiple trips.
27
kilometers, so you can do multiple 4, 8, 12, 16. You can do 20 trips up and down. And I think
why you want to discuss this? People, there's a myth that electric car mein baith gaya to band ho jayega.
No.
So just explain that little bit. I know we've discussed it before, but my producers go mad.
So I think as when we see the consumer data, on an average, consumers, individuals who work in mega cities like Delhi NCR or Bombay do not drive more than 120 kilometers, even if they travel large distances. So you can comfortably go from Nariman Point to Virar and come back again to Point seamlessly, and you won't cross more than 120, 140 kilometers. So I think this car just solves that big challenge. Even for intercity trips going from here to Pune on a single charge, you can seamlessly go to Pune. I think what we needed was cars like Volvo XC40 Recharge solve the pain point of, or this anxiety, the range anxiety has been totally addressed. So no need to worry for individual consumers, and even the companies like BluSmart will probably be a huge beneficiary of this kind of.
Punit, it's a very important point you brought up,
range,
because see, my wife lives in Bombay, but my girlfriend is in Pune, and that's about 200 kilometers drive. So I want to go and come back without her knowing.
No,
So
even if you're there, I think also when you go there, you will be probably doing a meeting or doing whatever. So the car can charge there. So I don't
That's
think so.
true. And people again forget, this is a great point again.
It's a habitual change which is coming around. So while you're talking, you're charging a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Similarly, while you're having your lunch or you're doing your meeting, now charging infra is coming and you can also charge your car. But with having that kind of power available, 400 kilometers single charge, that solves the big challenge. Even if I see ICE cars or petrol cars on a single charge, a Skoda car or other cars can do 450 kilometers or 500 kilometers on a single fuel tank. I think now 400 plus gives us huge comfort that you don't need to worry about charging. And Diamond doesn't charging stations are coming up across, in Pune or in between
along
Bombay
the way,
and Pune,
along the way. Yeah. I'm thinking of getting into that. I think that's the next big business. If you're interested in joining me, I have.
That is what we are into.
I'll call Deepika Padukone and let's start. Let's not.
We also one of the largest. We operate one of the largest networks in Southeast Asia.
Oh, damn it!
And by end of next year, we should be operating about 10,000 charging stations. This is one of the big business verticals that we are building at BluSmart, besides the ride-hailing piece.
Okay, now before we wind up, let's get a little bit about the man, the myth, and the personality behind the genius and the entrepreneur. So Punit is also a regular guy. He's got a 5-year-old daughter. He's got the regular father problems, husband problems. He was asking me about how you keep fit by walking long distances, which is quite a paradox because you're trying to sell a car and electric culture, and at the same time use your legs a lot.
Yeah, thank you. So I grew up in Calcutta and very humble background. I didn't have cars for the first 20 years of my life. So I used public transportation while I was in Calcutta and shifted to Bombay. For 16 years of my life, I was in Calcutta.
Just explain to them what that people who don't know that is a man pulling you on a small rickshaw.
So we had the yellow color cabs in Calcutta and a very strict family. So we always use public transportation, and I always saw that I think there's a huge opportunity in solving the public infrastructure.
तूने human rickshaw पे बैठ गया या नहीं? Tell the truth.
So we had those hand rickshaws in Calcutta as well. In Calcutta, then I came to Bombay and I grew up here. I went to Sydenham College here, went to LSC and to Aston for my
London School of Economics.
Correct. I did my master's of finance from LSC.
My father-in-law also, he's no longer there, but he was also.
Class of 2006, I went to Aston Business School for my master's in international business, class of 2007, and now this year Aston gave me an honorary doctorate in business administration.
Dr. Punit Goyal.
Thank you.
Why didn't you tell us in the beginning? I do the whole show again, yeah. We'll start from the beginning.
No, thanks to them.
Will you be keeping it on the visiting card?
No, I'm not writing it. I mean, I can write because.
Of course you can. Dr. Vijay
Doctor. I know, but it's okay. I mean, your work should speak for itself than all these things. So
I'm calling you doctor.
Thank you. So I've been quite passionate about the clean tech. I did my dissertation while at Aston. I wrote a paper on clean energy, and that's how I started my first company, PLG Power, in 2008, because I got excited about after I wrote my dissertation in clean energy, and that's how I started my first company in the RE space, in the renewable space. And then obviously while I was moving out of that space, I did a lot of research. I think EV is the future globally, and I did deep research in EVs in 2017-18 in the US. I was there in the US for 2 years. Met every company in the US, not to name them, who are in the EV space, manufacturing or charging, and that really excited me. That can we use technology to improve the quality of lives of people living in India?
Wow! So it all comes back as we wind up here. It all comes back to the fact that you had this idea which you nursed for a long time in all your various places where you were learning, etc. Is there one night or something where you had this brainwave? One moment, what they say, a cathartic event or something which caused this?
No. I think it was very clear from day one that the cost of fuel in India will go up. India used to import $60 billion of oil in 2018 circa. Today, India imports $100 billion in terms of import oil. That's our import oil bill. India needs to shift electric. We'll save billions of dollars of oil, and we will also do something great for the environment.
And I'm telling you, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, you have to let him join the ministry as your second in command. I can't see any position lower than that should be allowed. There's a gentleman asking for pictures right now. We will give them to him in a second. But we have to say bye here from Cyrus Drives. Another special edition in this beautiful car, which is known as
it's called the XC40 Recharge.
XC40 Recharge, Volvo's XC40 Recharge. And Punit Goyal, Check it out. He wears his logo. I really like that. You know, you're the CEO, you're the founder, but he wears the normal shirt. He might as well have been just a sales guy from the company. But he's so proud of his company, BluSmart Mobility. Look out for it. It's all over. It's growing as we speak. And maybe if you're nice to him, he'll give you some equity. But from all of us, it's bye-bye for now. Last question. How do you rate my driving?
Fantastic. I think 10 on 10.
10 on 10. We won't say the company's name.
Because it's on XC40 Recharge.
Because on XC40 Recharge. Okay, Abhi, tu ja. Nikal. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this, yaar. Get a life, yaar. Get a life, yaar. Huh? Get a life.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.